When are you going to get another opportunity to walk out? And the teachers go, yeah, good for you.
All right.
Good for you.
Exercising your First Amendment right.
That's it. I used to do that all the time. Always got me in trouble, but I still did it anyways. So the kid involved, let's just say there have been lots of issues with him.
Tonight, as students rally outside the Capitol, an internal disciplinary report obtained by WSMV4 Investigates shows that Solomon Henderson was suspended 2 months before the deadly attack at Antioch High School. On October 24th, 2024, the report reads that Henderson had a box cutter and threatened to harm another student with it.
I just want to say, at what point in time in America, when we worry about all of this stuff and there's zero tolerance anywhere, my little brother, so for those of you guys who don't know, my sister's had like a gazillion kids and my mother's adopted them all. So I have a little brother that is 13 years old. And I have another little brother who's 14. So my little brother put in the 14-year-old's bag a squirt gun, and he got suspended from school. They thought about sending, if he didn't have an IEP for special education, he didn't even know it was in there. Because, I mean, God bless it. I love you, Elijah, but if you're going to bring a gun, I figure it'd be a regular gun. And he's a little off at times. But it was like, it's no tolerance, right? Like a kid makes a gun pointing finger. It's no tolerance. This kid brings a box cutter to fight another kid at school, and they're like, should take a couple days off.
The threat happened in the cafeteria, the same place where Henderson would shoot and kill a fellow student and then take his own life. The report reads he was suspended out of school for 2 days. According to the district's own disciplinary policies, the most serious of punishment for possession of weapons is suspension, not expulsion. According to two sources, Henderson was also earlier suspended for getting into a fight when he was insulted by a student.
So I think what we're doing is we're seeing what we would call a pattern. And the pattern is saying this kid has some troubles. Some issues with authority, maybe. Some issues with other kids, absolutely. So should we be maybe paying a little bit more attention to him? It's 2,000 kids. You can't look at everybody. But you kind of get to know who the kid is that maybe he's got some issues.
And in middle school was disciplined for threatening a teacher's life.
Anybody? Like, I'm pretty sure most schools, you threaten to kill a teacher or threaten their life, there's probably a good chance you're going to find a new district or go to the homeschool route.
Or, you know what? Let's not even take it that far. There's a good chance that your ass should probably be suspended for making that kind of a threat.
Yeah. Well, you should.
Or expelled.
Expelled. That's the whole thing. And this is that restorative justice we've talked about where they feel that kids have been overpunished, especially kids of color and this, that, and the other. So what they're going to do is they're just not going to punish that way. Well, they've been overdone this. They've overdone that. Okay, in the past that may be true. But at some point in time, you have to recognize, well, that is true in some cases, not all cases.
And in 2023, 2 guns were removed from Henderson's home belonging to adults. But Henderson wrote in his online diary, quote, "I had my house raided once. They found a gun. It was mine. Laugh out loud. My dad took the blame. Students say all of it should have been a major red flag."
He was a long concern for the school, and they just didn't do anything about him. And it escalated, and now it's too late.
We took Henderson's disciplinary history to Robert Moore, a psychologist hired by school districts to evaluate threat levels of troubled students.
What does suspension do to a student that's in this kind of mindset?
They have more time alone, more time to harden and radicalize. If it's something like a short out-of-school suspension without any further evaluation or treatment, in most cases, these children are not ready to go back to school.
The minute you threaten a teacher and you threaten to kill him, I think at that point, because they said threatened his life or her life, the minute that happens, the suspension to me, it needs to go away. Because you put these kids in danger when you don't do anything. Well, you're worried about him, and that may be, that's understandable that you want to figure out what to do over here. There are other kids and people involved.
government absolutely failed in this instance, and it's government telling you that we should do something about guns.
Yes, of course, right. We should do something about guns. Absolutely must. And the best thing to do about thing for guns is to take yours away, or to limit the access, or restrict.
And remember, they're not trying to ban guns. They're okay with government having all of them.
Yes, well, because when they have it all, kids, it works for them, because that's what they want. They want control. It's what it's always been about. This kid gave how many signs? A lot. So middle school issues in high school on several occasions, of threatening, not just of bringing a box cutter up and trying to cut up a kid, fighting another kid, threatening a teacher. We talked about last week, some people give crumbs to the situation that they are, the spiral they're going down. They give you that crumb. This kid gave you everything you could think of. He was shouting from the top of the mountain the issues he had, the anger he has. Do I think every kid should notice when a kid's spiraling out of control? Well, if it's your friend, right? If you got a good friend that's spiraling out of control, you'd kind of know that. Didn't seem to have a lot of friends. What about his family? Where were they? But they had dealings with him. And somewhere along the line in this country, we've decided that the many shouldn't have a say in anything. So if a kid's dangerous, we don't want to make him feel bad, so we'll continue to let him to come to school over and over again. And then if something goes south, we'll blame the tool that he used on, that I guess talked him into doing it. I don't know. Maybe not. That's what happens. Right? If a girl doesn't want to change in a room with a young boy who says he's a girl, well, that's her fault. She's bad and evil. We can go on and on with this stuff. And common sense said here, this should have been dealt with. And it wasn't. And because of that, this is where we are, talking about yet another school shooting, which I will remind you will not be the last school shooting, because there are other kids out there who are struggling, who are disturbed, who are putting up all kinds of red flags, and they're being ignored.